RTCI nous réunit.
We are back in the studio with Marwa Mekni Toujani talking about this interesting information session that was organized actually today. It ended at 1 o'clock. And there are some important themes that have been dealt with, and I understand because there are some of the NGOs that are in the field of education that are present, like the TIRE, like the TATE, Education USA that was performed by Mariam Labidi, who is an active member there in the IRC, Celeste Koppe, who is, the coordinator of the American Corner. So how was the day? What was exactly in the program so that we can know? And how was the response, of the participants?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me the floor to talk about the information session, association and organization concerned with English, language learning, teaching and research. Second, there are many thanks, Second, I should thank Mr. Wannes Hafian, who's the director of ISLT, it means the Higher Institute of Languages, Tunis, for opening the door of the institute to such organization in order to improve education, mainly language teaching,
Right.
Also, I'd like to thank the head of the research unit, Langue et Forme Culturelle, Professor Monjia Arfa Minsaya. She's like the mother of researchers there, Also, the moderators of this session, my professors, for their encouragement, enhancement, Dr. Nordin Fgayer and Professor Mohammed Jaber.
I remember this teacher. He taught me and we had some great sessions. Nordin Fgayer and Mohammed Jaber, I would like to say, hi, I was your student.
Okay, then the session... The main aim behind this session was to sensitize students, teachers, researchers to such organizations and associations because they offer vital resources to us. And unfortunately, students and my colleagues, not all of them, but the majority of them are not aware of such kind of activities. Therefore, we had two sessions. First, we started with Amidist and IRC. Celeste Koppe, which is the coordinator of the American Corner, she taught about the activities there, the activities that they offer at the American Corner, let's say workshops. They have writing workshops and they're gonna publish what students write online. Then we have Mariam Labidi. She talked about Education USA. What Mariam talked about is the following. She actually helps students. She actually helps students recognize what kind of university they're going to study.
Exactly, and this, I suppose, concerning Tunisian students who are interested in postgraduate studies in the States.
Even graduate. After they finish their high school, they go their baccalaureate. Some of them think of going to States and study. So she showed them the way.
This was really good.
The kind of university they're gonna choose, what the requirements for registration, all that stuff. Also, Mariam Labidi. In the U.S. Embassy, they offer, or Amidis offer, let's say, scholarships for students. Short-term scholarship and long-term scholarship. Short-term scholarships, let's say, 6 months to study for non-degree. Also, we have the master scholarship. It's a degree. Degree scholarship, PhD scholarship for just 9 months, research. That's what Mariam, her function is to show the way for those for applicants of scholarship and for other students who want to fund their own studies in the USA. Narges Hashana from the IRC Information Resource Center, she talked about educational and cultural activities. At IRC, there are a lot of workshops for students, even teachers. We have because they host events like, let's say, Fulbright Society. Also workshops for employability. they're open for everyone. You can have just register, send them an email beforehand, then you go there and you attend. You don't have to do anything. Okay, you have to go there earlier for security
procedure.
Yeah,
we know that the U.S. Embassy, it's like here,
it takes at least 15 minutes to get to do the stuff.
To get to do the IRC.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then about the online resources, let's say e-library USA, then EBSCO host. You can go there, send the articles, the kind of books that you've liked, that you downloaded from that to your email, and go home, read all that stuff.
Yeah, wonderful.
Second session started with Stephen Sharp from the British Council talking about public teacher training. It means about the CELTA and TKT.
Right.
How you get the kind of those, let's say, standardized tests to teach abroad, mainly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, those are kind of standardized tests. You need them to, if you want to teach abroad, you need one of them.
Right.
Especially in the UK. Also, he talked about the British Council Tunisia website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have plenty of resources there. Even you have a newsletter, you can sign up for that newsletter, and every month you get news about online conferences, free online conferences, webinars, extra. Second, we have Dr. Hisham Awina, Hela Abbasi, and Abir Rahman. Actually, I want to go back to two things with Celeste and the following associations. I suggested for those association coordinators to bring with them students to talk about their experiences.
This is amazing.
Okay, what they have learned from being a part of such an association.
An NGO, yes.
Yeah. That's why we have Mohammed Nasser Makhlouf with Celeste Copy from Amidis, and we had Abir Rahman with TESOL members, and you have Rania Zaribi with Tate. Mm-hmm. I'm going back to saying those abbreviations back then. Hajar Brahim Ghazali from Tyre.
Right.
So, Dr. Hisham Awin and Mrs. Hala Abbasi talked about Tunisia TESOL, okay, teaching English for speakers of other languages. This is the affiliate of International TESOL.
Mm-hmm.
TESOL actually offers a lot of conferences, national days, and if you are a member of TESOL, you can join them during the 2 national days that they have for free.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you get access to plenty of presentations. If you are a student, you learn. If you are a teacher too, this is what I see from those kinds of conferences, that you learn from observing others.
Yeah. You
learn if the kind of presentation. This is, you develop your critical thinking. This is a good presentation. This is a bad one. Okay. Yeah. This is new information that I can include in my class. This is not such, or you're overthink your way of teaching a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing when you attend others talking about their experiences. So you develop another new way of thinking. Let's say. Hala Fourati from the Tunisian Association of Teachers of English, abbreviated as TATE.
Mm-hmm.
With Rania Zaribi as a student, Hala talked about all TATE. They have conferences, also national days. Also, they offer workshops. And what I liked about them too, they have, let's say, they call it adaptive teacher workshops. It means they give you a set of activities, mm-hmm. Then they show you how you can adapt it to young
young learners,
adult, let's say tertiary, primary, or secondary students. So you develop your own, you adapt that kind of activity. They show you through workshops how you adapt it. Ikram Ben Arfi from Tyre and Hajar Brahim Ghazali, they Tyre actually, which is Tunisian Association of Young Researchers.
Right.
Yeah, Tyre is not that professional. It's about research.
Yes.
They show researchers, actually new researchers, baby researchers, how to write their research proposal, how to publish, how to write abstracts, how to they show you the importance of publishing and also the importance of being accepted in accredited journal. Okay.
Yeah, this is quite important to have an accredited journal to publish in.
Yeah, and also Tyre has a journal.
Mm-hmm.
It encourages young researchers to publish in, and they have a good impact factor. That's why they offer researchers with kind of passwords and resources if they can't access to it, because it's not for free. If someone has an access, they can help you downloading books or
amazing.
Articles.
Sharing is caring, and that's what is great about it. I mean, these associations are really interactive, but also they offer plenty of resources. And for those who do not have access or who do not have the possibility, they offer you this chance, at least for those who have, subscribed. So these things that are not for free, so they can share them, and that's so nice.
Yeah.
So quite enriching this thing. I mean, here we are having various NGOs participating, some of the organisms too, like the AC, the American Corner, and also the IRC. So who attended this event? I mean, are they mostly teachers or students? And what kind of response was there after this info debate or info session?
Okay, actually the two sessions were attended by both teachers, students, researchers, two teacher researchers. They were glad that we had all of course, not all associations of teaching of English language teachers, but the most active. The most active ones, let's say, together, and they learn new information. Okay, they knew, let's say, they had an idea about the amount of resources that those organisms offer, and they are not aware of that for both teachers and students. And I think that they should subscribe to such and register and get their
membership in
membership, for at least one of them, okay, because it's very enriching, let's say.
Yeah. They have actually a long history, and in activism in the field of education, and since they are organizing plenty of conferences, there is this kind of exchange. I've attended one of these, which is the Tate, and we've seen some foreigners participating and telling us how it happens, how education happens in the States, how education happens in Ireland or in Britain or somewhere else, and that's so great, sharing this information and selecting what goes on with our education system, with our students, especially taking into consideration the level of students.
Absolutely.
And that's so wonderful.
Actually, if I might say, what motivated me to do to organize such event? Okay, there are two motives actually. First one, as a student, I was a member at British Council and MEDs and IRC. Then I was benefited from such experience. A lot of resources, books, websites for free, databases. So then, after graduating, let's say starting to be a little bit professional, I joined the other associations, TESOL, Tate, Higher, but then there is a big difference between theory and practice. What we've studied in classroom and what people are doing, okay,
Yeah,
in the
that's
classroom.
quite a cultural shock, you know? And that's what we felt at the beginning. Teaching and actually learning about American civilization, British poetry, and all that about Shakespeare, and getting low down to hello, good morning, that's how to think, that's how to greet, and that's really difficult to adapt to yourself and adapt the level.
Yeah, being shoot from linguistics major, I know about teaching, micro teaching session. We have the TOEFL session, teaching English as foreign language. All that theories together, but then how to put that
In practice.
into action? Okay, how? So when I'm observing those kind of let's say attending those kind of conferences, I was observing how teachers are presenting first.
Mm-hmm.
So public speaking skills, rather than the way that their PowerPoints are made, than the ideas. So I started to develop my own critical thinking. This is right. This is should be changed. This is how people function. This is how I can include, let's say, ICT in my class. So it's been a very fruitful, very enriching experience. So I said to myself, then teaching, I asked my student, I did like a small survey. Do you know this association? They said, no. Do you know this, the American Corner Offer? Some of them do. Some of them are members.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that. But the majority,
They don't know about them.
they don't know. Even they know that there is a MIDIS. They teach English. That's it.
Exactly. When they know how much it costs, then they change opinion and they
they
say,
teach
oh, we
English.
cannot afford that.
I say that they teach English, but the
Also-
American Corner offer you kind of workshops for free. Okay, they bring scholars from outside.
Yeah.
At IRC also their webinars. I attended a lot of webinars for free, a lot of workshops, how to, let's say, we had a series recently of workshop about employability, about how to write your resume, how to succeed a job interview, how to manage to get a job with your LinkedIn profile. That's why it's very, very interesting. So I said to myself, I know all the benefits that those associations or organizations offering, and my students are on the other side. Okay, that's why we should work on something together, all of them at our institute, because it's an institute of languages at the end of the day. Okay,
Right.
so actually at University of Carthage we have two institutes of languages. One is here in Tunis and the other in Nebel. So we are an institute of languages. We should bring those guests to us. And I said to you, thanks to Mr. Wannas Hafian, our director, and thanks to Mrs. Mongia Arfa, the head of research unit, Langue et Forum Culturel, we succeeded at making this
Possible and happened. Finally, it happened, and at least you provided the students with the right NGOs provide with the right adequate resources that are needed for them. Did you have this access to conferences and events, you, Zied, when you've been a student and learning English language, being in university or in secondary school? Were you informed that there are places where you can have resources and attend some of the events and conferences?
So actually, I would like to talk about another topic. So which is the economic emergency we are living in Tunisia, and
relating that to English.
Yes, so the thing is, we have actually the way to succeed, and English language is one of the tools we need to have to succeed in the modern economic or business.
Good.
So the thing is, so we are now living like an economic emergency, which where we have to act before it goes to let's say more difficult situation.
Right. And
Yeah.
English, I suppose, is the tool here that can allow you to get
Definitely.
involved into the
Definitely.
economic situation.
Yeah.
And this is an obstacle actually for those who do not master the English language. I mean, sometimes opportunity pass through, just in front of you, and you cannot grasp these things because you are not really able with the language to get into the international scene. Don't you think so?
Exactly. So language. So the if we see in internet and the resources and knowledge, most of it is in English actually.
Yeah.
And if we focus only on French, I think 2% of the internet is in French. So if you look, make your web research in French,
Right.
so you'll be only surfing in 2% of the internet.
2%. That's horrible. I mean, you are not having this total opportunity to get all the alternatives and all the possibilities
So
that
you're
are
missing
offered.
it.
Yeah, and this is an advice coming from Zied Ouled Ali from the Tunisian startup, who is going to tell us how can you start your business or your startup with zero financing, or at least not zero, but at least a minimum of financing, I suppose. So let's have a musical break, and we are back with Zied to tell us more about the event that is going to be held on the 13th of April in Kojit Co-working Space. Stay tuned, lots of interesting things to come, and he's going to tell you about some tips probably, so don't miss the chance to discover more about it. We are moving on with After We Don't Talk Anymore. Now it's Enrique Iglesias, Rhythms Divine. Iglesias, wonderful rhythms to continue with. It's 30 past 2 and you're still listening to the daily edition of English Language Programme. After speaking about improving education and English language teaching, moving on to how English can be helpful in having your own business, in having your own startup. And here probably Zied is going to help us understand more how financing also, because English is apart from a startup, I suppose, and he's been speaking of how English has been one a tip in your life and in your professional training. Let's talk about no financing. What are the alternatives? And this is the title of a conference or an information day that is organized by the Association Tunisian Startups that you are the co-founder. So why this topic actually? Is it because you're living the thing, or because you think it's really important to inform young people now who are really eager to start having their startup? And what's in the program?
So there is a more relevant, or if not the most relevant topic, which is the emergency or the economic emergency we are living today in Tunisia. Mm-hmm. And if we don't act now, we will be facing like an economic death, and nobody want to die. So we, a startup or group of startups, decided to not to wait for the country to help us, and took action and decided to help the country. How?
That's intelligent.
So we how we did that? We gathered together and created Tunisian Startups, which is a startups, an association of the Tunisian startups that works actually on gathering the startups to bring the strength required to be able to access to financing, access to markets, access to data, and in 2 words, to make their life easier. So, starting from the economic emergency you are living in, and in order to avoid the economic death, which is something really, really probable to happen if we don't act. A group of startups decided to help the country by gathering the startups and under one umbrella.
Right. So what I can understand is that this NGO is trying to provide the necessary tools, the necessary means, the necessary knowledge for all those young people who are really in their startup. They are starting actually their startups.
The group of startups we are so think
how many
that
are you
joining,
actually?
Really?
How many are you in this
So we
This
were
group.
about 20 startups. So that's the number. And so we faced a lot of issues and challenges due to the economic emergency we are living in. And the thing is, what we've done, and in order to represent the startups, and now by startups that made their own experience, we gathered together to become stronger and help each other by working or on topics like how to find the financing, how to access to market, and this kind of daily challenges that the startups are facing.
Okay, we'll be back to the difficulties. That's what startups find as hinders to their beginning into startupping, if you can say. So let's look at the program. So you felt difficulty when having your startup grow, let's say, and go on the right path. There are hinders. Among these hinders, probably the biggest one is financing. So what are the other difficulties that you meet actually in this economic transition that Tunisia is living? Apart from financing, what is the biggest problem that you are facing actually, you as the group of startups?
So the fact is, so when we talk about this economic emergency we are living in, so actually the difficulties are from the day one. That means from have an idea, from the culture, from the surrounding environment, so until the next step. So the problems we are facing starts, let's say, even from the family, which
Are you serious?
Yeah, which even so I'm talking generally. So
Yeah.
actually these economic emergence doesn't inspire the youth to start their own business. That's why launching a new business is like a suicide act
Yeah.
in economic emergency.
Because
So
there is no guarantees.
there is
Yeah.
no guarantees, and there is no guarantees in life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the kind of problems we can talk about is like creations, company founding and creation, how to find the right financial instrument, how to find the right partner, how to find the engaging or the motivation. It's a lot of psychological pressure you are faced in. So again, so the economic emergency doesn't inspire any people to invest, to buy, to sell, to use. And yes, that's why. So we've seen that, we recognize that as a young of entrepreneurs, and we saw that we can make out of Tunisia a prosperous country where like other countries did. So like Lebanon, Rwanda, Kenya. So they created the legal framework that helped startups to succeed. And this is what we are looking for. So the government is working on the Startup Act, which is a legal framework that will make the Tunisian startups' lives easier. And and it's possible because we've seen that in similar countries like, as I said, Lebanon, Rwanda, Kenya. They gave the required legal framework so that they help increase the country's GDP.
Yeah, quite important. And the legal framework is a major part so that you can have at least guarantees and be protecting yourself in administrative aspect, let's say. So what's in the program now? You as experienced, let's say, startuppers, you as beginners in the field of startup, you felt that there are certain difficulties that you have to share with those who are really interested into getting into the field. And you planned for this event. What's in the program?
So yeah, and the program, since we are living in this economic emergency, and this is a really important word, I would like to highlight it, So acting as an entrepreneur in our economy is a difficult thing. So first, most discussed topic is in Tunisia, and the first challenge or difficulty or barrier, let's call it the barrier, is how to raise funds. Unfortunately, it's not easy due to several things, and we hope that the Startup Act will solve this issue. So we've seen that organizing a meetup talking about the no financing issue and what are the alternatives based on real entrepreneurs' experience will show people that it's possible to succeed despite this issues. So the idea is to find. So actually, the topic will be discussed in during the meetup. So the idea is to show to the people that it's still possible to make that happen, but not for a long time. So there is other alternatives, but we need that this new law get the approval and the soonest possible.
Yeah, waiting for the law to come the soonest possible, as you said, and proposing the theme of no financing. It's quite challenging for those who are listening and for those who are coming to the event. So how can you talk about no financing at all as a beginning?
Yeah.
How can you start it?
As a beginning is actually the thing we. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have to have the grit, and you have to have the strength to be able to never give up until you get your objectives, until you reach your objectives. So the thing is, you have to develop your you keep working on your targets and improving your services. So this is actually technical, but you need to keep improving your services by direct contact with your customers and try to sell your product until you have the first revenue.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have this first revenue, then you can start.
Yeah. So actually, and this is why.
It seems so easy when he talks about this.
No. It's actually the issue is this is it's not easy at all, and that's why I want to go back and talk about this economic emergency, because if you have access to market, which is not that easy here in Tunisia because of the economic emergency, you may not need financing.
Yeah.
So you can be organically financed by selling your services or products to your customers. So you have the revenues, and with the help of these revenues, you can finance your company.
Right.
But due to the fact that we are living in this economic emergency, and we need to have things changed as soon as possible, we need to give a lot more of ourselves to succeed selling our services to risk-averse customers or innovation-averse customers.
Okay,
and
probably things are a little bit technical. Can you explain for us how it is difficult now for you as a startupper to get access to the market? What kind of difficulty that you're meeting when you getting access to the market?
It's easy, and it's easy to understand actually. If the economic situation is that bad, so the investment would be difficult to get. So if you're seeing that the economic situation of the country is not that promising, to avoid another word, it's actually normal that the investor doesn't put their money in new ideas like startups ideas or innovation ideas. So that's why I want to call for action, and we the group of startups helped create in the writing of this legal framework, which is the Startup Act, and we would like to have it approved, which will actually transform our economy to a modern economy, to a successful, more promising, modern from the today's economy, and helps our economic ecosystem get out from this traditional, not functioning, disabling model that instead of having startups, they have like start downs. They have big companies using public money and destroying it, and we've seen that this economic system is actually turning out big companies into failures.
Yes.
We've seen the example of CFAX. We've seen also on the world example of Kodak, of Nokia, and we Tunisians. So we have the chance to make out of our economy more efficient, more modern. It's not actually something for a future thing we are talking about. It's something like, as I said, countries in Rwanda, in Kenya made, or in Estonia, and they have now startups which within 5, 6, less than 10 years have like revenues more than countries or continents. And we Tunisians made these. We have such experience from Tunisian startups that succeeded, but outside of Tunisia. That's why, and in order to avoid this economic emergency and this economic death, so we have to approve the Startup Act. And
what does it consist in? What does it guarantee for you, the Startup Act? What are the major points that guarantees for startups?
So the Startup Act actually is the law that it's a modern law that guarantees that introduce new financial instruments, new guarantees for the investors, new advantage for the startups, the ability to have offices in and outside Tunisia. So to give us the required flexibility to be able to act like normal startups. So if we are enough equipped, so mentally equipped and skilled, so we need the legal framework to act like normal startups in the world.
Yeah, as an organism. So
as an organism, as a company.
So concerning the event now, what's in the program? You told me that you are going to talk about the difficulties that are generally met and how you can avoid them. So far, waiting for the act to be passed. Who are those who are going to participate? Are they prominent names, or are they generally startuppers like you, beginning in the field, or are they just youth that are freshly graduated?
No, actually the thing is, Tunisian startups are based on one concept or one idea, is that it's from startups to startups. It's from founders to founders. So we'll be having startups that made their experience in succeeding without raising funds.
Yes, this is good.
And I'm not saying that raising funds is something we can avoid, but we have to keep on progressing without. We have to keep on progressing, and until we get the funding. There is also another methods to have the finances, like closing partnerships with suppliers or first customers, something like that. So we'll be having basically startups that will be talking about their experience, how did they raise the funds, and how they managed to keep living or until they raise their funds.
Right. So it's quite enriching. So here it's kind of sharing experience so that they can you can understand how this is surviving, how the other succeeded in overcoming an obstacle, and how you can manage the beginning without having too much difficulties to manage. Probably this sharing is very fruitful for all the startuppers who are going to participate. So once again, I remind the title is No Financing, What Are the Alternatives? Because I suppose there are alternatives, and these alternatives are going to be dealt with during this working day.
Exactly, yeah.
And,
Based on real life experience.
On real life experience, and that's going to be enriching. Did you try to invite some of the political figures or some of the businessmen who are probably going to help you a little bit to, to enrich the dialogue with their own experience? Or even, I don't know, in public figures, administrative one from the ministry or something like that.
So now I will say
Did you send the invitation?
So we've said, actually, we are open to all.
Mm-hmm.
But so in order to avoid this economic death and get out from this economic emergency, so we are focusing more on the audience based on startups or new startups.
Mm-hmm.
And but we would like, so as entrepreneurs, we learn that every word might be hateful someday.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't. So we are open to each experience.
Mm-hmm.
So from the government, from the private sector, from the higher education, but the event is for the time being, they're more young people. They would like to be to become startuppers, entrepreneurs, or already startuppers.
Right.
Which actually they follow our movement that to join the Tunisian startups so that we can become stronger, and so we could because together we are stronger. Together we can access to finance. We can make things happen. We can start a change that help us to avoid this economic death.
Right. So these are the words of Zied, and that's concerning his view about startuppers and how we can manage that. So as he wanted to create this event, and the Startup Association actually as space for sharing experience. So it is a call for all the startuppers, for the beginners, for the young who are starting right now.
Any interested people.
Any interested.
From 0 to 100 years old.
Good. From 0 to 100 years old. So you are welcome in the co-working space, and that's on April the 13th. You are going to meet interesting people with great ideas, and you are going to share something unique probably. You've been studying so many interesting things, but now you are getting into the professional life, into real life, managing the difficulties of what's going on in the economic emergency, as Yed is telling that very wonderfully. So in order to avoid economic death, go there and be revived, because that's going to be
take
reviving.
Part in the change.
Take part in the change. Very nice word. So before ending today's interview, probably one last question for you, Zied. What is a successful startup? What is the key to success for a startupper, Tunisian startuppers today? Taking into account all the present problems and situation being on social, economic level and political level.
So the most important thing is actually to never give up.
Determination.
Never give up.
Yes.
Despite everything.
Good.
Even the economic emergency we are living in.
Yeah. Never abandon, never give up, and that's the word, that's the message of Zied Ouldali. So what about you, Marwa? What is your last message for the Tunisian? And I suppose you want to thank some of the people who made success this
Of course,
event.
as I said, that the event, I thanked a lot of people before, but I should thank, and I must thank the organizing committee, that without it, we work together, okay, to make this successful event, who are Dr. Buthayna Majul, Sirin Zouaidi, Hinda Zakri Shari, me.
I thank me. This is very nice. I thank me.
Dr. Sons Krona, Wisal Bilhaj Homa, and of course Mrs. professor Munji عارفة من سيا that we the head of research unit, and I would like to say that within our unit we have more activities to come. Okay.
Yes. Do you have a Facebook page where people, as students, teachers, can join you?
No, we haven't.
Profession.
Okay, we have.
You can
it's
join
not
the
a,
tape,
it's a
the
just a
TESOL.
group, a small group, but we should have a Facebook page for people to join us.
Yes.
To let them know about our activities, because we are working hard for the sake of teachers, researchers, to improve language teaching, language research, because without research we can't improve.
Sure.
Okay. Research is the first step for us to improve the practice, which is teaching, and we are stronger when we unify our efforts. That's why.
Yeah, and never give up.
Never give up, and we should
Never give
work
up.
as a unity. Okay.
Yes. Collaboration is the best way.
Yeah, that's
of
why we
succeeding
collaborated in such event. I said to you the name, say the
Yes.
organizing committee. Without this help, we.
Yeah. Would you like to thank somebody, Ziad?
So I want to thank the participants of the event in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
thank you to come.
Yeah, exactly. And thank the startups for making this association real. And yeah,
How old is the Startup Association?
so it's very young actually. So
A few months, I suppose.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the founding backgrounds are really heavy, and yeah.
Yeah, good. So here we come to the end of today's English program. I would like to thank both of you for coming and sharing the concerns of the various fields, being in the startups, being in the education and the research. This is really important, as Yet said. If we want to develop our country, if we want to promote things and try to overcome the present obstacles and issues that our country is dealing with, we have, as young people, to keep going, to see the future in a brighter
work
way,
hard.
to work hard on that, and to show the way. One step that you're doing actually is sharing knowledge, trying to discuss and dialogue in order to identify the problems, in order to find solution to the problems. Some of the solutions are not in your hands to solve them, but probably you can do something with it until it comes the solution, being from the government or being from any other side. So thank you for coming here and sharing your concern and your events. So for those who are really into the startup business or the startup field, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to attend, to share, to know, to discover. And that's going to be on the 13th of April in Kujit Working Space. As concerning education, stay tuned to the various Facebook page of the association, being the TAIR, the TESOL, the TATE. So there are many of them that are active. Apart from it is the IRC, which is the Center of Research in the US Embassy. There is the AC, the American Coronary Remedies. There is the British Council. The website is full of resources for you if you want.
Join the research unit also if you want to
Have a look at it.
Yeah, do more research and be engaged and active in promoting good language teaching. Our research unit, langue culturelle.
Yes, so thank you. With this, we reach the end of today's English program. Thanks for Faisal Heli for the technical engineering. Thanks for Munira Hamemi for the assistance. Wish you all the best. Don't worry. Be happy. Life is good. Bye-bye.